Earlier this morning, Pope Leo XIV canonized the Catholic Church's first millennial saint, Carlo Acutis. St. Carlo Acutis died in 2006 at the age of 15, but not before building a website cataloging Eucharistic miracles, and was later credited with 2 miracles of his own. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Jonathan Morris. Jonathan, so good to have you on such a wonderful occasion. So for those who don't know what Eucharistic miracles are, why don't we start with that to understand who this young man was?
Yeah, a lot of attention has been put on his digital life, which goes against a lot of kind of the more worldly uses of the internet. And he started a website documenting miracles, right? Eucharistic miracles, people who have been blessed and who have been received healing through the Eucharist. But the bigger thing than miracles in terms of canonization, the church declaring someone a saint, is first going through their life and seeing how they lived heroic virtue, meaning that this young man lived a life of real holiness at a very young age. He died at the age of 15 of leukemia. His mother says she was shocked by the way he lived. That not only was he living...
They weren't religious.
They weren't very religious, and yet he was dedicated to the poor. He was dedicated to helping the homeless. He was a young kid going through tremendous suffering. So I think...
And he went to Mass on his own, you know, with no problem. I mean, I think about how, come on, everybody, get to church, get ready, get dressed.
Yeah.
No. His parents weren't going, when he started going to Mass, his parents weren't regular church attenders, and he was going on his own.
And maybe it was the suffering, his own process through deep suffering through cancer that brought him to understand priorities, or maybe it was just the grace of God in his life. But the big thing here is Pope Leo is saying this is somebody who's worthy of imitation. His life is worthy of imitation. It's not, Catholics do not believe that we should be worshiping saints or even praying to saints. We ask for their intercession.
That's right.
It's like me saying to you, Rachel, please say a prayer for me. Please pray for me. Yeah. Pray for my kids. Likewise, this person, the church is saying, is with God through God's grace, and his life is worthy of imitation.
So you and I spent a lot of time in this little setting talking about Pope Francis, when he, his legacy, when he passed away, the new Pope. We've had some time now with Pope Leo. I'd like to get your assessment.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed watching him be quiet. What do I mean by that? That he has not been commenting on every single political situation that's going on. He does speak out for peace.
He does.
I think that's a good thing for a pope to do. He does say, stop fighting each other, stop killing each other. We need a voice like that. But he has been very humble in not entering into every single political situation, and I'm very proud of that.
I totally agree. I've enjoyed that too. I've enjoyed little subtle signs, different things that he's wearing that shows I love anyone who communicates through fashion, right? And he's been putting on papal outfits that haven't been seen in like 60 years, sort of like more classic and traditional with the, what do you call that? The hat that they wear, the white one that sort of has the brim on it. So I think and then the use of Latin. I think he is trying to bridge between sort of the more liberal side of the church, the more conservative, traditional side of the church. I think he's doing what he's supposed to do, which is
he's going back to a lot of traditions, even the clothing that he wears, as you mentioned. All of it has spiritual, religious significance. It's not about his personal preference. It's like we use this to remind us of the martyrs, or we use this to remind us of our responsibility to God, etc. What is our responsibility? It's not so much what is my personal preference, and I love that because we know we need anchoring in tradition, in values, all of us, Catholic or non-Catholic.
I think we're back. I'm happy. All right, Jonathan Morris. By the way, you can see the full story of St. Carlo Acutis on the upcoming Seasons of the Saints on Fox Nation. It's a fabulous, incredible series. Martin Scorsese does an amazing job, and you can watch that on Fox Nation.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.